it's true you're here in theory for How to Get Away with Murder, but you're also on Orange is the New Black. Which do you find people recognize you for most?
I find I get recognized more for Orange is the New Black, actually, which is interesting. You know, Netflix doesn't release their ratings information, but I'm very curious to know how many people watch it, or if it's just a demographic thing. You know, I think that on a show like How to Get Away with Murder, a lot of network television shows, as opposed to cable, you know, you get a wide range of audience throughout the entire, I think, especially in terms of in the U.S. and throughout the entire country. And I mostly live in New York and Los Angeles, so it's so interesting to think about also your perception of you know, how many people watch the show is based on your immediate surroundings and also social media. You know, you get people tweeting at you from all over the world, and you know what countries sort of do that as well.
Most actors would kill to have one of those parts, let alone two. How did that happen?
I killed for it. I killed 4 people, but they weren't good people, so it's okay. You know, it's a lot of luck. You know, I think I say that I'm not. I say that to friends and people, and they say, "Oh, don't discredit yourself." But I still think that you can be, and I know a lot of great actors who are really wonderful, but don't have the opportunity necessarily to work a lot, and that oftentimes doesn't have to do with their ability. It just has to do with being, you know, having the right audition for the right role, you know. And then, you know, at the time that I booked Orange is the New Black, which was my first show, I'd only done, you know, a couple TV roles that were 5-line roles, and at that point I would have been happy to do any television show. It just so happened that, you know, and at that point in my career I was barely auditioning, and I had like 1 audition a month for these 5-line roles, and this thing I didn't really have an agent either, and this audition for Orange is the New Black came up, and it was a Netflix show, and no one knew what that meant. Although I did read, I was like, oh, they're doing a show with Kevin Spacey, that's pretty cool. And the audition was about 3 lines, and it was a possible recurring, which means I could have been in 2 episodes or all of them. So I went in on tape for the casting director, never came back for a callback or anything. They told me I got it. I was excited, but by the same token, I had no idea how much I would be there. So every episode, I was like, God, I hope they bring me back for the next one. And then by the end of the season, I was like, wow, I was in every episode. And then, you know, I like to think that maybe the work in Orange is the New Black helped, you know, with How to Get Away with Murder. Although I think my understanding of it was they really didn't, because the characters are so different, they didn't see me as someone who would probably play Asher Millstone in How to Get Away with Murder, you know. And I think that's sort of what happens in TV a lot is, you know, there'd only been, I guess, 2 seasons to come out at that point. Maybe if it was a 7-season show, people get so used to seeing you as that character, but it's just so fortunate to be able to play in 2 hit shows, but also characters that are so different. And I feel like in television, that doesn't always happen. It happens in film, but I feel like in television, my understanding is you end up playing a very similar type of character, and it's nice to be able to show my range early on.
What's it like being part of the whole Shonda Rhimes thing? Is she amazing?
She's wonderful. You know, with Netflix, it was a thing where we didn't know, no one knew what it would be. People say, did you expect it to be a hit? And I'd say, no, I didn't have any expectations. Being on a show under the Shonda Rhimes umbrella, you know, created by Pete Nowak, but under that umbrella, you know, and I signed on before. I was actually the first one cast, and I know Viola hadn't signed on yet, and I was basing it on the script, the character, and, you know, it being produced by Shonda Rhimes. But that's nice because there's a built-in fan base, you know, and I felt like doing that feels like going to a party where everyone likes you and knows who you are already, you know, and as opposed to, you know, a show where you're sort of having to prove yourself, and people don't necessarily, you know, people were excited about that show before it came out. And I think that informs a lot of the sort of creative freedoms that you get and the ability to really take risks, you know, and that's, I think, what makes great television. And that's what we want to see, is something that, you know, pushes the envelope. It's edgy. It's different than what people have seen. You know, we get a lot of diversity, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's just the best possible outcome, really.
And what do you binge watch, or what do you watch at home?
Yeah, I'm not really a binge watcher, interestingly enough. I mean, the most I'd say I watch is like maybe 2.5 hours of television at a time. I can't sit still for too long. I find that I end up kind of wandering around. I'm currently trying to binge on Orange. I watched the first 3 episodes of season 3 at once. But now that I've been here, it's tricky because there's a lot of people who've seen the entire season, but I'm probably not going to watch it until I get back into the States, which is, you know, in a couple weeks. But I watched Girls as well. I just finished that not long ago. The show Louie, you know, I love that show. I think it's brilliant. I actually look forward to seeing, I think Daredevil might be one of my next on my list, the Netflix show. So yeah, I try to stick with one, and I also, even if a show, like, I start not liking it, I'm like, I want to just finish it. I've invested. I don't want to be like, oh, I only watched 2 seasons, and then, you know, I don't know. I try to keep up with it.